Well, hello my lovely LEGO addicts and welcome to a very special episode video where I discuss a ReMoc that I've done recently. Pretty obvious what I'm talking about. This relatively huge Sauron statue designed by MartinLegoDesign. So this has been in the making for a good few months because like collecting all the pieces for this took quite a long time. I'm actually still missing a few minor ones, but not enough that I couldn't build it. So this was a project I did together with Ben / HighTeaToys because it's one of the characters and franchises we're both really into. So it's like a thing that we both really wanted, and I thought this would be a really cool Lego thing that Ben would really appreciate as well, and he did, but it was quite a difficult build. So I definitely did more of the building. It's so unlike any actual Lego set that it's just like a thing on its own. I think a lot of MOCs are, if you go away from traditional buildings, it starts using really creative techniques. Obviously MartinLegoDesign is a really talented builder who, how he even came up with this is just beyond me. Like, there are so many amazingly talented people out there in the Lego community, so creative with parts. Not only have I saved up like pieces for this for ages. So for a bit of background, this is my second ReMoc I've done that isn't something that's like a little addition to a building. Obviously I've done the Zongos building that was off instructions from Rebrickable, but that was obviously using a set. So I've done a few other like sets, like MOCs for sets. So I've obviously done like the pub, I've done the like jazz cafe that you see behind me, but I feel like they're slightly different because they're using like an existing set. So this was the second proper ReMoc that I did that I had to collect every single piece for. I had to like add this to my Bricklink wanted list, and I just had to start saving and buying individual bricks. I think it's a really good warning and sort of like something to be really aware of. If you're new to remocking, it's expensive. Like, there is just no two ways about it. I think when you start buying individual bricks to remake sets that you bought instructions for, you realise how much cheaper it is just to buy Lego sets that are pre-priced and have instructions, because individual bricks can get really expensive. I have to give kudos to MartinLegoDesign. I think he really tried to pick pieces for this MOC that were cheap and relatively readily available. I only had a few issues with some of them, so I've used alternative pieces for his mace because the original ones in the instructions use like lightsaber hilts, and they could go up to £5 per little hilt, so I replaced them with just Technic holders. But altogether, as much as it was really expensive to buy every single brick, luckily the bricks I'm using weren't that rare, so that kind of wasn't the issue. It's just buying individual bricks that gets expensive. I don't actually know what this costs in total, but I think it's possibly around 150, but that is only a guideline because it's different for every single person. It's different how many things you can buy at the same time, because we had to kind of go with individual orders over various months because like one bulk order wasn't really attainable for us. And also because this uses quite a lot of specialized pieces, we had to order like a few from this shop, a few from that shop, a few from that shop. So obviously like postage costs started adding up, so we specifically only ordered from UK stores, so we only ever had UK postage. But I think if you have to start going abroad, it can get quite expensive. So these are all really good things to bear in mind when you do a ReMoc. But now let's just talk about this particular MOC, because look at it, like, oh my god, it's really cool. It's really impressive in real life. I think it hopefully looks impressive on the screen as well. So you start off by building the base that Sauron's standing on, so just the like volcano area. Then you've got the broken sword at his feet, you've got the helm of kings right there, and then there is the glaive at the back, which I'm kind of assuming is Gilgalad's, but I have to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I just wanted to point out a few details. So actually Sauron is holding his mace. So there you go. This is actually a brick build mace that is separate. I think the design of it is fantastic. As I said, there's a few bits different to the instructions just because I had to find alternate parts because it was hard or expensive to get hold of the originals. But this mace is fantastic. It really captures what it looks like in the movies. And also my other favourite detail that you have on his hand is he's actually wearing the One Ring, which is just gotta appreciate the you know, the detail there. My other absolute favourite thing about this statue is the way that how his head is built. I just can't get over the fact that his head is entirely brick built, and it really captures that menacing sort of, I guess, faceless identity that Sauron has in the movies as well. It's such an impressive build. As I was building this, I just kept going like, how do you even come up with this? Like, it's so creative, and the part use on this is just insane. He is supported at the back by some trans Technic things, which is fantastic because without that he definitely doesn't stand very well. I think his weakest point is in between his legs, where his torso and his legs are connected, and that's only connected by like one tile. Like, whilst I was building him, that's probably the bit that broke the most. It is a very challenging build. It's nothing like a Lego set. Yeah, it's tricky, but you're building a really unusual shape, so it's not entirely crazy. I think in some places, potentially stability has been sacrificed just for the sake of it looking better. So don't build this thinking that, you know, it's going to be super easy to put it together. I think I probably built him twice completely, because the first time I got a few things wrong. And then I kind of realised later on, and I was like, okay, let's try again. And then the second time I built him, I attached his torso to the stands at the back straight away, and that actually helped quite a lot at like keeping the weight. But I still sort of, when I started adding his shoulder pads, sometimes the weight that I had to put on to attach the pieces would break other bits off. I think you just have to be aware. It's fragile, but then you're gonna build this, and that's kind of the point of ReMocs. I think they're expensive, they're tricky, but it's a really great challenge. I have to say, I've had a lot of fun with this build. I didn't mind that it broke a few times, because it also just taught me like to be gentle with the things and to be like, to kind of work with the parts. For example, this figure is posable, and like you can move certain bits on him, but you really need to know where the hinges are and support it correctly, because otherwise you will break bits off. None of this is a criticism. This is just what you get when you build really unusual things with Lego. But it does really make you appreciate the parts that I used, and the fact that this is built and it's actually movable is still something that blows my mind. The fact that he can hold his mace, that his fingers are like movable and posable, like there is so much thought and creativity and skill gone into this build that it just blows my mind, genuinely. I'm just so blown away by these kinds of builds, because there is no way I could conceptualize this myself. Huge kudos to people that design stuff like this, and MartinLegoDesign for not only designing it, but then also creating instructions for it that like people can recreate, because I think it's underestimated how difficult that is. I think overall the proportions on this are like spot on. It's just menacing. It towers over things. It has a really nice base. I think this is really on par with like figures that you can buy, like collectible figures. Obviously it's a different medium, so it hasn't got similar detail, but it feels detailed enough for it to just feel like a really complete build. I sent a photo of this to Ben's brother Adam, just to kind of show him like, look, this is Lego, like this is what people do with it, and he was like, whoa, like that's actually amazing. How the hell is that Lego? So I think a lot of people are really impressed when they see stuff like this, because it's really not what you think of when you think of Lego. So the fact that this is made with it is just insane. There is so many fantastic details. I think the way his armor is created is super creative. There is so many bad pieces in this thing, it's crazy. There are some bionicle pieces, for example, for his shoulder pads. For anybody that's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I would 100% recommend it. For anybody that likes a challenge and I would like to build something new with Lego, again, it's gonna cost you a decent amount of parts. Like, definitely have like £200 for this, and then also the instructions, just to make sure that you have a budget. It also, again, as I said, depends where you live, how easy things are going to be to get, and how quickly you can collect. Because I think if we'd been able to place a big order at a store that had most parts, it would have been slightly cheaper, but just be aware that these things do cost a lot of money. But for him, I'm so glad we did it. Like, this is insane. So if you're thinking about wanting to build a huge Sauron statue, I would 100% recommend this. Or if you want to build like a movable fell beast, or if you want to build all kinds of other amazing things, please do check out MartinLegoDesign. I'll have his links in the description down below. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you so very much for listening to my rambles. If you like the channel and want to see more of this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I also have membership for the channel, so if you want to support me and what we do here, that would be fantastic. And if you are a member of this channel, thank you so much. I generally can't do this without you. I'm so grateful that you think this channel is worth supporting. Thank you. Right, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye! How do? Good video. Goodbye.